these streets, who was hitting those licks? Look me in the eyes and I wouldn't be shit. Wanted me to die, but I said no way. Rock the boat, baby. Ow! I'm about to go crazy. Wow!
Damn.
Coming up. Tell the whole gang we coming up. Knock his ass out, he running up. A bitch love me, she can't get enough. Coming up. I got money now, so what? I've been the same since day one. That's why he can't stop me.
When I hurt somebody, yeah. When I beat somebody, yeah. When I turn out tonight, yeah. When I get that grunt, yeah. When I hurt somebody, yeah. When I beat somebody, yeah. When I turn out tonight, yeah. When I get that grunt.
Cash rules everything around me, bitch. Grind these streets, who was hitting those licks? Look me in the eyes and I wouldn't be shit. Wanted me to die, but I said no way. Rock the boat, baby. Ow! I'm about to go crazy. Wow!
Damn.
Coming up. Tell the whole gang we coming up. Knock his ass out, he running up. A bitch love me, she can't get enough. Coming up. I got money now, so what? I've been the same since day one. That's why he can't stop me.
When I hurt somebody, yeah. When I beat somebody, yeah. When I turn out tonight, yeah. When I get that grunt, yeah. When I hurt somebody, yeah. When I beat somebody, yeah.
Good evening, all. Welcome to the Blockchain Report with Mike and Jeff, aka Veteran Crypto and the Blockchain Report.
Can you see me?
Jeff is having a little bit of technical difficulties, so we'll try to get him in here shortly. But we'll kick things off real quick and give him a little bit of time. But as usual, I want to start things off with just going over kind of what the markets are doing currently. So I will jump over to CoinMarketCap. And today it's been relatively slow. Everything's been kind of trending sideways. Haven't seen, a whole lot of, price appreciation on a lot of the projects. There's been a couple that I've noticed in here. Let's do this. So a couple of older cryptos have been moving lately, this past couple of days especially. So, a couple of names that you're all familiar with. You got Hedera, HBAR, you got XLM Stellar, Algorand. There's a couple of kind of old school tokens, the ISO 20022 tokens that I myself held through the bear market. I've actually, over the past couple months, been slowly selling those off for other projects that I kind of felt that were lower market cap, so had better potential ROI, which I was, I'm more interested. I'm doing a little more higher risk plays. I'm not really in a position to where I'm worried so much about losing the money. If I hit on a couple of my picks, it'll more than make up for what I lose. So I'm taking a little more of a gambler's mindset, I guess is the best way to put it. But I'll share kind of what I'm invested in. So Aerodrome, those of you out there that are paying attention to markets at all, what Aerodrome is. It was kind of an early bloomer. This bull cycle took off quite a bit. Started at sub $1. I mean, it was sub 50 cents, and quickly skyrocketed to over $2, and has since retraced back to between 130 and 150. It kind of keeps bouncing back and forth, but this is what I've been talking about as far as my. He's trying to join back again. This is what I've been playing around with when it comes to DeFi, decentralized finance, and I'll kind of go over my update on that here in a second. Casper, it's really sprung to life. Those of you that don't know, it's something that I've had a high conviction in, but it has taken quite a few licks, gotten beat down, but has come back from the nether regions, and it was actually about 150, 160% up from its from its lows, its all-time lows, and because it has drawn back a little bit, from those all-time highs, or not all-time highs, excuse me, just the highs of yesterday. It got up to a little bit over 2.5 cents. And so since then it's drawn back a little bit, but it's found its kind of a new floor. It's found new support at about 0.17, 0.18 cents is kind of the support that it's found. I'll go to trading view. Blink if you can hear me, Jeff. All right. So we will go to, let's go to the 15-minute.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
So you can kind of see, right here is the 0.17 or 0.017. And you can see back here, it was support here at support. It's kind of laying on that as support right now, but it keeps bouncing between looks like about almost 2 cents. And so I'm really would like to see it get above 2 cents and turn that into support. It's kind of looks like about the next area, the psychological, that kind of a psychological area. You got where it worked as resistance here, worked as resistance here, worked as resistance here. So if we can get back above 2 cents, I think we'll have a lot of room to move. Here, let's go out to the 4-hour. We'll have a lot more room to move if it can get up to that 2 cent region, right about here. Looks like about the next area that we need to get past is about 2.2 cents. And then above that, looking at about 3 cents. And you can kind of see where these levels are. So we'll move on from this. Let's see. So DAG has been doing great. These and those that aren't familiar, DAG has quite a bit of use cases and partnerships with Department of Defense. So the Air Force uses it. A lot of different branches in the armed forces and the government use DAG, and it's not a lot of people talk about it, and it's a really low market cap for a project that's this strong. It's sitting at about 362 as far as market cap, but the past little while it has really come to life. I mean, you can see back here, it was around 2.5 cents, got a little bit of a spring, and it's just kind of trended sideways since kind of the middle of November.
Hmm.
It has good fundamentals, good team, good use cases, good partnerships. Stick by your convictions. Unless an aspect of those fundamentals change. With Casper, again, part of the team left, and that's kind of why it took a dump. But the key portion of the team stayed that I really felt was the backbone, and that's why I stayed in. I don't blame the people that got out. Kevin Cage, I don't know if he got out, but he talked about Casper quite a bit, and was kind of I think he felt it was quite the kick to the nuts. that what happened with that. Ethereum, not a whole lot of movement. I'll talk about Ethereum and then I'll actually jump into my DeFi play because that's one of the pairs that I'm using is wrapped ETH and USDC. But I've actually really enjoyed ETH trending sideways. Those of you that aren't familiar or have thought about getting into DeFi to profit, sideways trending markets are the perfect time to get into and to profit from DeFi. And when there's a lot of volatility, scalp trading or day trading, is kind of a better bet because the market's moving up and down quite a bit, so it gives you a lot of buying and selling opportunities, and to make good profits. And that's what scalp trading is. So let's jump over to, and I'll actually share this, and this will give you an idea. So these green lines are one of my ranges that I'm using in DeFi. And I picked a narrow range because it gives me a higher interest rate of return, or APY. And then these gold bars are a wider range that I'm using. Every time that it comes out of the range, you stop earning. So let's see. I'll show you. He keeps trying to join, but still not seeing Jeff. All right. There we go. All right. So those of you that have watched our first couple shows, I kind of, when we started this show, I actually started doing DeFi 2 weeks ago. Since then, I've been averaging about $100 to $120 a day on an initial investment of $10,000. So these are the two liquidity pairs that I'm currently in, that I've deposited and staked. And you can see that this first one here was those narrow bands that, those narrow green bands that I was showing you. And it actually just came back into range. So if it goes out of range, this turns red. And down here, this little thinking bar here will actually stop, and the APR will go away, and you'll stop earning arrow or emissions, and you'll stop earning trading fees. You can either wait for it to come back into range, or you can do what's called rebalance, which is basically close this out and re-enter and pick a new range. So because it's been trending sideways so well, is why I've been keeping a narrower range. If ETH gets more volatile, I'll probably opt for a lower APR, but a wider range so that it can stay in range longer, because every time you rebalance, it costs fees. And so if you're constantly having to rebalance and rebalance and rebalance, you're eating up all of your profits. And I'll go over fees in another time. But I just kind of wanted to give everyone an update on that. And I will do
I'm here.
this.
I think he's glitched out. Or his Rumble.
This is all the the facts and figures of how much USDC and how much wrapped put in, what the prices were at the time. This is how much it was worth at 3:30 my time, 15:30, and the price, how much of those fees that I've earned, and then the emissions or the arrow that I've earned over the past 3 days, or today. And so it does all these calculations, built out the formulas to where, here's my initial investment, here's my current investment. And then, using those figures, I'm able to come up with the initial value. Basically, if I wouldn't have done DeFi, what would it be worth? So it looks like it would have gone up, a decent amount. This is the total value of my liquidity pool without the rewards. So you can see that it did go up in value, and then the rewards earned. So I've earned $305.43 since I started. And, of course, this is everything together. And then, of course, I have to subtract my impermanent loss. So as it moves up and down within that range, it's selling off and buying off each of those pairs. So, as it moves down, it's going to be buying ETH. And as it's moving up, it's going to be selling off ETH and buying USDC. I hope that makes sense. So whenever it reaches one of the either the top or the bottom of that range, it will be maxed out. If it maxes out on the bottom, it's going to be maxed out in wrapped ETH. So worst case scenario, you end up with a bunch of ETH. You don't lose. The only time that you would lock in that impermanent loss is if you get out of that position. So if I closed it out and rebalanced, I'm going to realize that impermanent loss. Hope that makes sense. Jeff, you're killing me, brother.
Oh no,
I'm
here.
stalling. He was wanting to go over DePIN or decentralized physical infrastructure. Oh,
Look at the chat.
I'm in the. Oh, there he is.
I'm in the chat.
I can see you over there. Why can't I hear you?
I've been here.
Can you hear me, Jeff? Jeff? Yeah, I see you in the stream, but I can't hear you. Here, let me try. I'll try reboot, and I'll be right back.
Little technical difficulties. Gotta love it.
Looks like it was my end. I can see and hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Since I
Oh
rebooted.
shit!
It looks like it was my end, so I'm an asshole.
Oh no, you're okay. You're okay. You were going. I saw that you didn't have your screen presented, so I just pushed it up there, and I was like, "Wait, can you not hear me?"
So, but I mean, you could hear me the whole time, couldn't you?
Yeah, you're golden.
Okay,
You're good.
okay. I just wanted to make sure that people weren't like sitting just watching nothing.
Why?
So
No,
I
the
think I'm
DeFi.
done.
No,
Go ahead.
So I wanted to bring up what I mentioned to you earlier about the options trading. I don't know if you've ever like dove into options trading and how they work,
No.
but there's a similar strategy where it's like a type of, it's called a butterfly, and you want the price to stay within a certain range. So it's perfect for, if you trade Tesla and you want it to stay at $300 or in a 290 to 310 range, you can pick this inside butterfly or whatever the strategy is called. And when it goes sideways, you're just like collecting rewards basically. And it's a similar strategy. And I didn't think about it till earlier. I was like, oh shit, that's like, this options play where you can take advantage of that in the traditional finance, because there's not a whole lot of options plays in the crypto markets yet. But if you do have some stuff in traditional finance and you want to hedge against that, sideways action, it's a perfect opportunity to, take advantage of that. But also you got to understand how the options work and stuff. But it was a pretty interesting similarity. It's like, oh shit, that is a good idea. Because the rebalancing, I found myself kind of when ETH was going a little bit volatile before the weekend, I was like, maybe I should widen my range a little bit if it's going to be acting like this. But then it calmed down. But I was still earning a decent amount.
I always, if it gets out of range, I'll wait at least an hour or two, because it seems like it always comes back into range. But yeah, it kind of, I get a little antsy when it goes out of range, because I'm like, I'm not making money. Money.
Well, that's good it's kind of good to have multiple ranges too, multiple strategies to where you can pick like, oh, if this range goes out of balance, then this one will make up for it. And like you said, it'll automatically sell off, incrementally as you go. in one direction or the
Yes.
other. And so you're not going to have total, the permanent loss is going to be less than what it would be if you just sold all the ETH at the top or at the bottom of the range, and then it went up and you were like, oh shit, I need to buy more, and you'd lose all that. But it's kind of almost like a DCA, I guess, strategy, right?
No, that's exactly what it is. It's basically DCAing for you. So, like if it's like the one I'm doing, the wrap ETH USDC pair, as ETH is going, or as ETH is going up in value, then it's going to start selling off well, you can see, real quick, I'll do this. So you can see that it was, it was up here towards the top of my narrow range, which
Oh shit, that
is
hit it right on the money.
exactly. And I'm actually using TA to do that, because if you go back here, you can see, back here,
Yep.
it worked as resistance. Right there, it kind of worked as resistance because it came back in. Back here, resistance. Right here, resistance. So, that's kind of how I'm picking my ranges. Right here, support, support, support,
Yeah.
support, support, support. So I mean, I'm kind of using TA to pick my ranges. If it breaks out of this range, I might scroll back and look for a historical place, where
Yep.
the next range is. So, it might be, like up through here. It might be where I set my ranges. And you're right. Kind of my plan to start doing once, ETH starts getting volatile is I'm going to do a narrow, a mid, and a wide. And so no matter what, one or two of them will always be in range. And, and then if it gets way out of range, like the narrow one, especially, then I'll just rebalance that one. But you're right. Then you're kind of hedging your losses. If you have to rebalance one, the fees you're getting from the other two will help make up for it, plus the profits that you've made already. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, if that narrow band goes out of range, like what would cause the impermanent loss to become greater? Because you don't want to say rebalance if ETH goes 40%, in one direction, then you're like, fuck, I mean, my impermanent loss is going to be pretty big. Like at what point or what percentage move would you out of that range would you want to rebalance before, and then in the other hand, could it come back and you not have the impermanent loss? It's how do you, especially in the bull run when shit is just going,
when it
30,
starts
40% a day,
parabolic,
you might want to hold off on the narrow band for a while.
So no, honestly, I'll be 100% honest. I'm still wrapping my head around, the whole impermanent loss thing. I have noticed that kind of once it reaches that upper limit or lower limit, that's kind of the extent that I've noticed personally. And, maybe if some of you out there, some of you out there, if you can like leave your comments and stuff and maybe help educate us. Like I said, I've only been doing this for a couple of weeks, but it seems like that kind of, like once it reaches the bottom and all the USDC is, has bought all the ETH, and and I'm just have a bag of ETH. If ETH is going up, then I'm making money. Depending on which one's being sold off and which one's being bought, kind of once it reaches that limit, it's like that's the extent of the impermanent loss. It's not like you keep losing money that I've noticed. I haven't had to rebalance like really extreme outside of my range yet. So maybe I'll do another update once that happens. But again, in my tracker, I'm trying to capture all that.
I guess at some point when you run out of USDC, it's not going to be able to. You're just going to lose ETH at that point. So it's like, well, just hold it. You got the ETH, so
exactly, and that's kind of the beauty of it is worst case scenario, you have a bunch of USDC or which is dry powder, or you have a bunch of ETH that you can long term hold or sell off to rebalance or whatever you want to do. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of what the update on what I've been doing. So pretty much over the 12 days, that I've been doing it, I've made about, I'd say about, 12, 1300 bucks. This is a little bit off. So yeah, I've been averaging a little bit over $100 a day
Heck
off,
yeah.
so it's, like even here, it's been saying over the past 3 days about 4.5%. So, I've been the past couple of days, I've actually made, probably one and a half, 1.75%
Percent.
per day.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck.
again, not bad,
No.
and it compounds. It's
Yeah.
like I can, throw that back in to make more money. So at this rate,
Yeah.
if I can, keep this rate up of even like 1%, you figure 1% is 30%, in 30 days. So 3 months is 90%. So about 3.5 months, if I can maintain this, I'm doubling my money.
And that's just money sitting in there. That's not including stuff that you add to it if you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, as it compounds, that's actually a valid point because since it's compounding interest, it might be
Mm.
less than 3 months because as I'm earning and I'm rolling that back in to the pool to the liquidity that I'm injecting, then that's just more and more money that I'm earning on. So
And the arrow stacking, like I had less than 400 bucks for like a week or less than a week. And I racked up like 10 bucks. I just added more. Um, I've just under 1,000 staked and stuff now. But I mean, even in
nice.
just an hour or so, it was like a couple bucks that in rewards. So yeah, if you have a little bit of cash, man, even 300-400 bucks just sitting there. Like my brother has stuff in his savings account for his taxes, and I was like, take a little bit of that and put it in one of these, and he can manage that daily too. He works from home, so he can sit there and make sure that things rebalance when needed. But I was like, your money's just sitting there wasting, and he's like, you're right. I need to figure out a way other than trading once in a while to let your money work for you. And
Don't let your money sit. I mean,
yeah,
anybody that's rich will tell you that. Money that's moving makes you money. Money that's stagnant, is dwindling. It's going down.
yeah,
Like if it's in a savings account, it's being eaten away by inflation and the devaluation of the dollar. It's if you're not actively using your money to make money, you're losing money. That's
yeah.
that's really the long and the short of it.
And this is a perfect segue into the DePIN stuff, because a lot of this decentralized physical infrastructure that is being built out, do come with rewards that whatever the hardware is that you might purchase to help support the infrastructure, or if it's a web-based license that you own that people use, like with Render, I know you put that in the title. Render is one of the big ones.
Yep.
Like just owning a piece of this infrastructure and these different projects can give you rewards just by sitting there. I took the Ether Cloud when they had their node launch earlier this year. I took one of my airdrop wins and I reallocated that. Somebody mentioned something about Ether nodes, and I was like, oh, what is this? And it was a week before the nodes went on sale. And I did some digging into the project, and I was like, okay, this seems like a pretty good, solid play, at least for the near term, because you never know how all these projects are
Are you
going to
talking
pan
about
out.
the Ether nodes?
Yeah, the
Oh,
Ether.
I thought you said Ether. But yeah, no, I
Ether.
kicked myself. I was wanting to buy one of those because I think when I looked, it was like 2,500 bucks for an Ether node.
Oh yeah, now yeah, I got it at 0.4 Ethereum.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because there was the sale. There were tiers, and once
Yeah.
each tier was sold out, and I got like the 12th tier, and I was like, "Fuck, man, this is." But it was at less than half an Ethereum, and then within a
So you
few
got a
hours, it
node?
was like, "Yeah, I got a node." And
Nice.
so yeah, it was. Oh man, And I got a story to tell you about that offline. But it's but the thing is, I wasn't able to do this without like the airdrop stuff, because I hit Manta, the Manta network. They had a big campaign last year. They had a couple different ones, and those on-chain achievement tokens that I was talking about a week ago or so.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, and those qualified me for a pretty big airdrop. It was like 12K from that airdrop.
Damn.
And I sent a few NFTs
tokens
to my
or dollars.
like dollars. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I took I sent some of the NFTs before I actually found out the allocations. I sent some of the NFTs to my brother, because you know he's been helping me out with the Discord and stuff and building out a lot of stuff, and he helps me with research from time to time. And I was like, I want to give him some of this stuff, because he's like trying to get into airdrops but doesn't necessarily have all the time because he's got kids and all that shit. But so I'm like, okay, you're helping me out, I want to help you out. And he ended up getting like a few $1,000 from the NFTs too, so it would have been a lot more. But I take those profits, put some into other plays like this that will generate you rewards long term. And
Absolutely.
it was a great play, because I was like, I want something that can generate. And it's a little bit pricey to begin with, but look at 2-3 years down the line, and if these do pan out, that could be a great play. But deciphering what is going to stand out long term, I mean, we still just don't know. But
no, and that's the double-edged sword of being so early. Is it's kind of like the .coms. I know everyone always brings this up, but it's worth saying. In the beginning of the .coms, I mean, you couldn't swing a stick and not hit somebody that was invested in or a part of a .com. When it came to VCs, if you had any kind of .com, they were throwing money at people. And then that .com bubble burst, and like 90% of the .coms went away, and all that was left was like Google and Yahoo and different things like that. And honestly, crypto is going to be the same. You need to diversify. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the wheel over to you so you can share what.
I was just about to share my screen.
But yeah, I mean, it's you need to do your research, find good projects that are in DePIN, that are in DeFi. DeFi and DePIN are probably going to be the biggest narratives, in my opinion, this bull run.
RWAs.
RWAs is another big one. DePIN, and I'll kind of say this to kind of as a precursor to turning it over to you. Those of you that don't know, DePIN is short for decentralized physical infrastructure. So anybody that's paying attention, you've seen NVIDIA stock going through the roof, and it's, in my opinion, is a bubble. Reason being is they cannot keep up with the demand for chips. And with anything in business, the opportunity for profit is addressing what's called a pain point, or an issue that an industry is having. And the industry right now cannot get chips for processing power. So as a result, somebody figured out how to use crypto to basically do processing for people. So like processing on demand. So from your house, you can actually turn over your processing power that you're not using to certain protocols to process data for people. It might be for AI to generate things, or to, whatever. And for that, you get rewarded in crypto. And so basically it's a way to use dormant compute power that otherwise would be laying dormant. So ingenious. So that's what part of what DePIN is. There's other projects like HiveMapper and HNT or Helium that is, they use like nodes that you can plug in your wall, and it enhances like cell networks, and Wi-Fi networks, things like that.
Yep.
So with that, I'll turn it over to you. I just kind of wanted to, kind of let people know out there, kind of what the, DePIN is.
Yeah, and like you said, there's a lot. There's a lot to it, from AI, gaming to, like you said, the heliums and the hive mappers that map out or that help build this wireless network, for smart meters or anything that has sensors, the heliums and stuff. You can configure those to run on the helium network. That way, if you need to get information sent out and you don't necessarily have a network to connect to, you can use the helium network. And they also just started their helium mobile network. So they have hotspots that you can purchase and earn rewards for running. They have indoor hotspots and outdoor, but that's also another, feature. You can earn rewards for, you're almost like the cellular company at that point. You purchase and own one of these towers and help support this network, and it gives power back to the community, the people, and you're not just paying for a service and not getting really any rewards for using it or helping support, this business that is just taking from you. And they own all of the data and information, when here all this stuff is public. It's on the net, it's on the blockchain, and I know initially all these layer 2s and different projects in crypto are centralized, but you have to build it out to become decentralized. And that's the path that we're still going down. It's not true decentralization, at least not a lot of these, but you have to start in a centralized manner and then build out the infrastructure to decentralize it. I forget what the steps are, but I know Linea Network, the layer 2, they're close to becoming fully decentralized. So I know a lot of
any enterprise use is going to be hard to be fully decentralized.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, inherently there's going to be some control over the network, either in part or in whole.
Yeah. But stuff like this, AI, gaming. So Helium, and I haven't been as familiar with Hive Mapper.
I'm not either.
Yeah, I know Helium's one of the more popular ones. And
I actually got a Bobcat miner, not out here in the cabin, because there's nothing for it to connect to earn. I actually sent it to my brother, and I think I showed you. He's had it plugged in for a couple of years now, and we got it's like 50 something HNT before they switched it to IoT, which isn't worth shit.
Yeah.
And so I think we've made $300 or $400 in a couple of years. It's next, and maybe HNT will skyrocket someday, and it will actually be worth something. But I mean, I bought the Bobcat miner, the hotspot, for I think it was like $2,000. So I haven't even got my initial investment in a couple of years out of it.
Well, you got it off eBay, right? They were already going crazy high.
I bought it right at the height of the last bull market, and you could not find them.
Yeah, and you couldn't find them.
Of course, everybody was asking a premium for them.
Yeah. When I bought mine, I looked on eBay and Amazon and stuff, and it's like, oh shit, it's more expensive to buy it on there. But you didn't know if you were gonna actually get it from the manufacturer, because a lot of people, it was months. My brother bought one not even a month after me, and his didn't arrive for 3 or 4 months later. And he didn't, that's when the rewards really took a shit. And then, the whole thing was Solana, and it wasn't long before the whole FTX thing when Helium decided to use the Solana blockchain or to migrate over to the Solana blockchain, because they were using their own and found that they had a bunch of issues with it. And So they just decided to migrate over, and then you have
It's
Solana,
easier.
part of the FTX collapse, and go down to like $8, and a lot of people were like, "Is HNT even going to make it?" Like the rewards are shit, and everything's going
Yeah.
bad.
No, I've tried it. I won't go down the rabbit hole, but I've tried a couple different things. I was in that time wonderland, because I wanted to learn about DAOs.
Yeah,
I tried to do the miner. I did. My first experience was Sheeb, with crypto. As far, it was, obviously a meme coin. I've dipped my toe in everything, and about the only thing that I've found that works for me is just buying and holding, and
liquidity.
DeFi, as of late. Those are the only two things
Yeah,
that have really really worked for me so far.
yeah, and also the timing too, man. Like you said, it's
Yeah.
just the difference in timing. And like me and with my brother, it's like just a few months or a month can determine whether or not you get all your
Yeah,
money back.
you flop it or you lose your ass.
But
If you make money or you're somebody else's exit liquidity.
exit liquidity, yeah, it's and that's the unfortunate part. I mean, it is what it is. It's just I've been on the other side of those people's exit liquidities many, many times, and I've been there, so I know how it feels. But you just gotta learn and prepare, and just make sure you're not putting in more than you can lose, or you're willing to lose, right? Because if you are putting in, that $2,000 that you spent on that miner, if you needed that, but you were just talked yourself into buying this because it would give you these rewards that are projected, not confirmed, and then you get this thing months later and it doesn't work, or you're not getting the rewards that you thought, and then you're out $2,000 and your time and months that you could have had invested in some other tokens that could have made you a reward. And, it's a whole different life. But if you have the money that you can see, just like, okay, I know this might go completely away, like $2,000 just gone. I'm okay with that, then go for it. But just determine your risk tolerance, like buying any of these, like with Render, you're buying I don't know if Render has the same one. I'm not sure how they actually run their network, or how they have their community run the network. But on like the Ether, you own a license. You purchase a license that runs like a server, and
Mhm.
people that want to use that processing power for their AI or their gaming, whatever needs to be rendered, or use computing power for, they can rent your license or rent your server, and you earn rewards on that. And that way you don't have to have a physical thing, but it's kind of easier to set it up too, because the helium miner, it was kind of a pain to set up and get the antenna all hooked up. And because I got one on my roof, it doesn't just have the little antenna that it came with. I bought like
Yeah.
a 3-foot long one, and a
Well,
like
antenna
20-foot long
propagation. Well, antenna
cable.
propagation can get pretty complicated.
Yeah.
Figuring out how to increase the range, and all those things, because the way that those miners work is basically the more other nodes or other miners that it can communicate with, the more rewards you earn. So
Hmm.
the more range you can get, the higher up you put an antenna, usually it's better. Um, Depending on how the antenna is constructed, as
Yep.
far as height, the length of it, things like that, they all contribute to the range. So yeah, a lot of people will actually go online and buy all kinds of crazy antennas to boost their earning. But a couple of I'll rattle off a couple of projects that are out there that are DePIN. So we've been talking about Helium. Another aspect that's not a miner that's considered DePIN is Filecoin, so decentralized
Oh,
storage.
Filecoin. Yep.
Yeah. So instead of using giant servers like Amazon, and Microsoft and stuff like that, then you can use a project like Filecoin to store data securely and efficiently. You got Arweave, same thing, permanent data storage,
Hmm.
Render, decentralized GPU or computing power. Akash is a cloud computing platform. IOTA, IOTEX is looks like smart devices. So basically a network. Hive Mapper we
Hmm.
talked about. Dymo works on vehicle data, creating a network where car owners can
Oh,
share data from their vehicles, earning tokens in return.
that's a
Then you
cool
got
one.
Nadix. Yeah, utilizes smartphones and AI-powered cameras to collect mobility data. Run on Flux offers decentralized cloud infrastructure, allowing developers to deploy
Hmm.
and manage applications on a distributed network, reducing reliance on traditional centralized cloud providers.
The cloud thing, man, is big because do you really want these companies like Microsoft and Google and stuff to have these cloud services, but they pretty much own your data? Um, Now I'd like to know what kind of data and stuff. Oh, I think he dropped. You there, Mike? Oh,
Yeah,
you
I'm
back?
here. I
Okay.
guys, I had to go check on something. Something was
Oh, you're good.
outside the cabin.
Yeah, I've been kind of wondering this myself. Like, what kind of data will these projects be kind of taking? Like for advertisement and stuff. Like this project called Carve. You can connect like your wallet or your Facebook or whatever social profile, and it will mine data for you and in a decentralized way. But I question like what kind of data are you mining that the companies like Facebook and Google already do, and is it actually safer than the way they do it? Is there less risk of your information getting out there? And um, that's another thing that I've been wondering myself because I've done a lot of this stuff, allowing my certain data to be mined. But I do want to know a little bit
Well, I mean,
more
it's
into
one thing
that.
if you choose to profit from it, like like the browser, Brave browser. You earn
Yeah,
their native token
the
for
bat.
allowing them to use your data.
Yeah,
Whereas Google, they make the money. Do you mind if I
they
share
just
my
take it
screen just
all.
real quick? I actually
Oh,
found
go for
something
it.
that's kind of
Well, in
interesting.
grass, which just launched not too long ago. That's like a using your unused data from your browser. So whatever data you're using when you're on your browser, if you're not using it, it will collect data and you can earn off of that. But
You have
I
to
would like
stop
to know,
sharing.
that. Oh shit, my bad.
No worries.
Kick me off.
No, I was just wanting to share this because
Was boot.
again we talked about helium and Hive Mapper, but this is another thing is weather stations. So basically doing networks that sharing meteorological data. Um, Dymo we talked about it has like basically a little hub that does the same thing as helium and Hive Mapper but it does the data from the cars. This daylight thing, I haven't looked
Dymo.
into it. I'll have to, but it looks like it has something to do with like sharing energy, which
Yes,
might
I
be
actually.
interesting.
I don't remember if I did a video on that or not. I might have.
And I'll tell you one thing is I worked out in New York years ago, right after I got out of the military, for a tech startup, and it was a Bluetooth mesh networking. It was before crypto really took off, and a lot of these DePIN things came out, and it was basically a bunch of routers or hubs that we would build networks in cities, and it just create a mesh network. And
Mhm.
one of the ways we did it was putting it in restaurants, and then basically the restaurants, it would allow people to be able to access their menu, and do a lot of other things. And it looks like somebody
Oh.
kind of did something similar with food delivery, where basically they can be on a network and kind of like DoorDash almost, but they're
Mhm.
somehow using a blockchain technology to to do the same thing.
Yeah, and you're cutting out so much of unneeded waste, like with these companies that
Mhm.
have just all these overhead and uh storage for or office space for all this stuff. I mean, you can really cut down
Oh
a
yeah,
lot
like
of this and
DoorDash.
reward
Yeah,
people.
I'm sure they have like huge
Yeah.
offices and programmers and for their app and stuff. If you can build out a project where it's on chain, to where
Mhm.
they're doing it's doing the quality control, it's ensuring that it's compliant with whatever region it's operating in. I know that's
Yep.
a big part of something that Prove AI is doing, that they just the one that left Casper and went to HBAR. That's what they're doing for
Oh yeah.
IBM, is they call it AI governance. And so basically what it's doing is it ensures that if IBM gives that offering to somebody in Europe or in the UK, that it meets whatever laws that they have in place. If it's in the US, it meets a separate set of laws, depending on whatever our regulation is. So no matter where it's at in the world, it's compliant. So it's I think we're just starting to see the tip of the iceberg of what crypto in the future is going to be used for.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible to see because I couldn't have really imagined like such depth to these markets, like decentralized physical infrastructure and real world assets. And like I understood these things in pieces, but when they put these labels on it, like DPIN and RWAs, it makes you think like, oh shit, these really have. It's not just NFTs of things, or NFTs aren't just a profile picture and something stupid. They're like the Ether node. It's an NFT. After 1 year, it gets unlocked into an NFT, and I can transfer that license. So there you go. You can, because you can't sell any of the nodes for at least a year. So once those become unlocked and it, there's your NFT. Is it worthless now? Like, are you going to say NFTs are bullshit? No, because
No, but
they
that's
do
the
have
thing,
some
is people need to
application.
realize the difference, between a cartoon monkey NFT
Yeah.
and an NFT that used like my property that I have
Yeah.
here. I can put the title for my property on an NFT. It you know
Hmm.
there's a lot of uses for NFTs, patents. You can,
Yeah.
there's a huge problem in title theft on property because of the way it's done currently with, the manual processes,
Yep.
at the county offices and things like that, which would be eliminated with blockchain technology. Same thing with patents. Patent theft is a huge problem, which could be mitigated or eliminated with, putting it on blockchain. Passports could be an NFT.
Yep.
Driver's licenses could be an NFT. There's a lot of things an NFT can be used for that make it to where it's not a cartoon, worthless cartoon monkey that's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
No, no offense to people who like
yeah,
board,
who got
yacht
all
race club and all that. To each their own. I never saw why people were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars on a picture of a monkey.
yeah. Yeah, I guess the exclusiveness of the club,
And I know some of them, you earn rewards and things like that, but to me, it didn't make sense. Not for what they were asking for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And that you know, we find what works and find what doesn't, and the shit pops and fizzles. But you know, you gotta, and if you get caught up in that, you know, I lost thousands of dollars in NFTs in the last cycle. Some rug pulls, some that were, you know, good projects, but just ran out of support after like 6 months, and the bear market didn't really help. But it, you know, you go through it, and that's why you got to be in it for multiple cycles. Is, you know, you get in at the beginning and you're like, oh, up, 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 and then the bear market, and you're just like, damn.
Different things work. Different
Yeah.
things work in different parts of the cycle. So,
Yep.
you know, like when you have the volatility, you know, like when, you know, the, like right now, what we're starting, you know, holding or hodling is awesome. You know, you're going to make a ton of money, or day trading or scalp trading. You're going to make a ton of money. You know, when you're in the depths of the bear market, when everything's just trending sideways in those doldrums and nothing's happening, you know, not DePIN, but DeFi, you know, that you're going to, you know, you can make a ton of money. It's a double-edged sword because you don't have the volume, you know, you don't have the people, you know, that are, you know, doing the swaps and things like that are giving you your fees, but trending sideways in things like, you know, USDC, USDT pairs that, you know, don't need that, you know, it's, you can have it in there and be making like 10 or 15%, you know, APY.
Yep.
So that's, you make a valid point. You know, kind of long-winded, but you know, I was, you know, a little bit long-winded on it, but you're right. Becoming educated on as many aspects of blockchain technology as possible, airdrops, DePIN, you know, DeFi, you know, all these different things, you know, being able to do technical analysis and trade, and you know, learning about cold storage wallets, you know, to protect your investment. All these things are all necessary to have in your toolbox to be successful, you know, in every aspect of the cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. And if all this stuff seems too overwhelming, just pick one thing for a week or 2 weeks, and just learn about it. You know, just one thing. Learn about crypto wallets. Like, what is a crypto
If you're
wallet?
slow
How do I
like
set
me,
one?
it might be a month or two in each.
A month or two. Yeah. You know, whatever your pace is, you know, and people can't watch or listen to stuff during their jobs, or, you know, just find some time whenever you can to learn about this stuff. And there's also more like free stuff like Carve. They just had an airdrop recently. They kind of screwed some people, but they have a whole gaming side where they offer little games and you earn rewards and stuff. And I'm not much into the gaming side of it, but I have some friends who are. Oh, there's the website. But if you're into gaming and want to check it out, you know, they have Carve Play. They have an AI agent as well. And they're also, yeah, they launched their nodes. And this is where I kind of look at the whole node sale, because there's a project called Rivals and Sofon and all these other like projects that are getting into DePIN that have these node sales. And I'm thinking at some point, like, it's just going to kind of oversaturated. And if you spend thousands of dollars on one of these nodes and it's a project that just kind of pops and fizzles, you're going to be pissed that you didn't go with the other one that, you know, but that's just where we're at in the state of the market right now. But they do have like gaming and stuff too, so you don't have to spend thousands of dollars. I'm trying to find the gaming part of it, because there are some cool fun games that you can play.
No, you're right, RJ. Slow and steady brings the Fetty. Yeah. No, it's, you know, people get a little too anxious, you know, with, you know, wanting to get rich
What's up,
quick.
fellas?
You know, it's, you know, you definitely want to have a mixed bag. You know, you want to have the slow and steady, and it's okay to take, you know, a little bit of money here and there, a little bit, and do some higher risk plays. But yeah, you don't want to be going all in on everything all the time. You know, you're going to end up just, you know, basically making somebody else rich.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So here, Carve, like I said, they have kind of like a gaming project, but I haven't done the gaming side much. I just did the um you essentially mine your data to earn soul tokens, and then once they
Okay.
had the airdrop, you can convert the soul tokens to the Carve token. And they
That
marked a lot of
angelic
people
thing looks like it might be
as
pretty cool.
they marked a lot of users as what they call Sybil or bots, and it was really bad. Like I saw people that have been doing this for like 6-8 months, and like myself, and get marked as a bot, and it was kind of crazy. But some of their the way they had the token transfers from Soul to Carve didn't necessarily calculate the same, so it was a whole shit show. Like there's a whole thing on Twitter with like it was Carve and another project, those Carve scam or some shit. But yeah, and the same thing happened with ZK Sync. ZK Sync had a really shitty airdrop, and a lot of insiders ended up getting a good allocation. And you can see, I don't know if you use Dune Analytics or Dune Dashboard, but
Yeah, actually, I do quite a bit for my DeFi.
oh yeah, it's powerful, and you can
Yeah.
see on some of these. I don't have it. I'll just pull one up just as an example. But in the ZK Sync graph, I think it was on daily transaction or transaction volume, and you could see a total drop off in like May or June. There was
Mhm.
like a total drop off, and that was when people speculated that the snapshot was taken for the airdrop. And you wouldn't have that huge drop off in transaction volume or activity if insiders didn't know what was going to happen, because that's a distinct, like, you know, like from here to down here and then
Yeah.
completely flat. It's like, okay, somebody knew, or a large number of people knew what was going on. So
Yeah.
this is a great way to track nefarious activity like that too. You know, you have a company like Enron that might cook the books and say, "Oh, it looks like this," but really you're just faking everything. And when it comes out like, "Hey, you know, if we find out that there's going to be something, or that you guys have been doing something nefarious, the community's going to make themselves heard." And man, any airdrops that I've been a part of or seen that have gone south, crypto Twitter just blows up. Oh, I think we lost him again. Yeah. So Carve. Yeah, if you're into gaming, and just want to play some stuff and try and rack up your Carve token, I think they still reward users, concurrent users. And that's another thing with these projects. Once they have an airdrop, they're not just gonna end. Like that's not just gonna be it. They want to get users to come back, use their product, and you need a reward mechanism built in. And I don't spend a whole lot of time on the games myself, but a relatively safe play, I can 10 to 40x in the next 4 weeks. I guess if you got into what was the squirrel? Peanut and Fred?
I closed out my browser.
Oh, you're
Sorry.
okay.
No, I was just saying that yeah, basically I use it to look up, you know, where people are voting for the rewards to go for the next epoch. So basically,
Yeah.
it lets me know where I want to put my liquidity to get the most reward for the next epoch. So yeah, basically to put an exclamation point on what you were talking about. Yeah, Dune is a great tool for a lot of different things. If you haven't, if you're out there and you haven't saved that as part of your toolbox, I highly
Yeah.
suggest you do so.
It does get a little slow at least in my browser sometimes when loading some of these. Like they have some good airdrop ones or airdrop hunting stuff, but you can pretty much create a chart for anything, transaction volume on a certain network, or the one that I was using for layer 0 was somebody made a dashboard for all kinds of different metrics. So Arbitrum, I'll kind of just touch on this real quick with Arbitrum. When they did their airdrop, they had these certain metrics, and you needed to have a certain amount of transactions, a certain amount of active days, weeks, months, and each one of these compounds. And so people started making these dashboards to see where you rank, and you put your wallet address in there, and you can see a detailed breakdown of everything on your activity, like the amount of volume you bridged, how many unique days and weeks and months. So it's a good metric to see where you stand in anything. And like if a project has an airdrop coming and you're not sure what your wallet activity looks like, you can come here in Dune and find out. Somebody probably made a airdrop checker for it. And also, like you said, the DeFi plays, powerful for DeFi, just for checking total value locked, the transaction volumes and everything. It's a great tool to have.
Did I miss something when I dropped myself out of the stream? C90 said that you don't like Casper.
Oh, I didn't say anything about Casper.
Oh,
I don't know what.
Maybe he's messing with me because he knows I'm like freaking all in on Casper.
He's probably trolling you.
Yeah, he's trolling me. He's messing with me, I think. It's all good. Yeah, no,
we had a Casper bash.
yeah.
Mike's gone.
All right, quick, let's talk shit about Casper.
No, man, I'm glad it's pumping though. I'm glad it's pumping. Like, you.
Dude, I was deep in the hole on Casper. I mean, I still, even then I was still, talking about it because I honestly did believe in it. I wasn't telling people to invest in it necessarily, but I was just, letting people know kind of what was going on with it so that they could invest accordingly. But, yeah, I'm definitely glad that, the new team is in charge and letting it go in a lot of different directions, not like the old CEO.
Yeah, and sometimes you need a new change of management and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if it causes some pain in the short term, like I worked for an electric vehicle company, a Chinese EV company here in California, and we went public. I got there like a year before IPO, and in 2018, like fall 2018, they IPO'd, and then 6 months later, company was like, it was bad. A lot of people were leaving, cutbacks. Company almost went under, and not a lot of people stayed. I was one of them. Me and my manager, we just kind of stuck through it because our job wasn't really at risk because we worked in the lab and the engineering lab. So we needed any kind of support for the people that were there needed to be done by us. So
yeah,
if we were gone, it was kind of screwed. And it was actually pretty cool because I got to do so much learning. Like what I do full time now, designing circuit boards, I only did as like a part-time thing, or it was like a small fraction of what I was doing at the time. And I saw an opportunity like, hey, I could do this and it's a lot easier work and I don't have to be in the office doing physical stuff all the time. So let me take this opportunity to learn while, the company might go under. So I'm just going to sit here and work as long as I can. And if they keep me around, fine. But if not, I'll move on. But having that time to spend on other things and not having to worry about, I was worried about my job for sure, but I was going to keep working there until they kicked me out because it was a good paying job. I had unlimited, they have what's called, not unlimited PTO, but you essentially just request time off and they approve it and pay you for it. So
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about paying you any that you've accumulated when you leave, but it made things so much more easier because I didn't have to worry about, oh, do I have enough PTO? And so all these things, I'm like, I could leave and, if this company is going to go under, but if I have this opportunity to spend on other things that can improve my career or my skill set, this isn't the most ideal situation, the company going under or potentially going under, but fuck it. I have, in my situation, it was good for me to stay. And,
So
you just
C90
never know sticking through that, what you can come out of the other side with.
Yeah, yeah. So C90, it says, no kidding, we manufacture lighting products and have to sub out PCB layouts. Not sure what a PCB layout is.
Oh, printed circuit board.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like all the electronics, motherboards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
What does he do? Manufacture lighting?
That's what it sounds like.
Hmm.
Just different lighting products. I'm guessing like LCDs and stuff like that. But
Man, we might have to talk offline about that because I've been looking at getting into some side gigs with PCB design. So that would be
nice.
You guys are looking for
Like a contractor or something like that.
Yeah. It's fun, man. I don't know. Being an engineer is what really got me into the tech of the blockchain technology. I got into it, for other reasons initially, but seeing what the capabilities are and being a tech guy just kind of really made me want to dive into like, how does this stuff work and what are the benefits and is it all just smoke and mirrors like people say? And this crypto thing, it's like, oh, there's a lot of use case and utility and it's not just bullshit. It's really interesting stuff to see how it can save people so much money and cutting costs and all this bullshit, the bureaucratic bloat. And
some of the people need to realize right now is a lot of, up until somewhat recently, the crypto technology has been highly speculative. So there's a lot of projects saying that we want to do this, that we're building this, that this is what we want to do, but there was no real proof of concept. And for anybody that's involved in business and startups and things like that, one of the first thing investors are going to ask, if it's not a VC or something like that, and a lot of times even VCs, they're going to say, we need something that shows that there's even a possibility that you're going to be able to pull this off before we're going to invest money in it. And a lot of these blockchain technology companies didn't have that. They were just saying, this is what we're hoping to do. And so we're starting to get to a point to where a lot of these companies, and the ones that crack the nut first, are going to be probably the ones that survive, like XRP, with cross-border payments. They're making it happen. They're actually doing it with Render. They're starting to be able to show that they're a real DePIN technology that is able to do the real-time compute for enterprise customers. Aether is really starting to show, and they're focused more on, if I remember right, because I did a bunch of research on them because I wanted to invest in them when they first came out, and I own some Aether. But they were wanting to focus more on like an enterprise application, and rendering and things like that. So we're moving into the age of not speculation, but actual real use cases, and you're investing in companies that are actually providing a service, a software service, a SaaS, so you're still very early. Don't get antsy and don't get discouraged because you're seeing like HBAR, the past couple of days it's been pumping, Casper the past couple of days it's been pumping. They did nothing for a long time before they pumped. While Render was pumping in the bear market, Aether hadn't even launched yet. There was a lot of projects that weren't even out yet. So, getting into these projects when they're not the shiny object that's pumping at the moment is when you're going to make money. Could it not go anywhere? Absolutely. But buying into these pumps, you potentially are going to end up buying a top, before a pullback. And then when it pulls back, you're going to be like, oh no, I need to get out. You get emotional. Oh no, I need to get out. I missed it. And then right after you get out, it's going to pump again. So do your research on these projects, DePIN projects, and all these other crypto projects. Do your research and be confident when you invest that you're investing in a good project. Look at the team. I'll say this till I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
Look at the team. Look at the tech. Look at partnerships they currently have. Look at all the different aspects of the project, so that when you invest in logic and facts, not emotion. Meme coins are all emotion. And you can make money. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of people that make money, but for every person that gets rich, there's a whole group of people that lost everything. With meme coins, all of the liquidity that's in there is people like me and you that dumped our money in there. And the people that make money are the ones that got into it before you did, and they exited before you did. Honestly, that is what meme coins are. Yes, you can get rich, but you can also make somebody else rich.
Yeah.
So keep your emotion out of your investing. Do your research, invest in good, solid projects, know what you hold. If you exit, do it because those fundamentals changed, not because you got emotional, not because you saw something else pumping. I sold all my HBAR, full disclosure, a couple of days ago, right before it pumped, because I wanted to put more money into my DeFi play. So, I'll own it. It wasn't emotional per se. It was just, I did the same thing with XRP. I sold all my XRP to buy into Arrow and Ondo. Ondo really hasn't pumped, a ton yet, but Arrow did. I made, even though XRP pumped, I made way more money on Arrow than I ever would have made on XRP so far. So yeah, I missed out on the XRP pump, but I made a lot more money on Arrow. I saw a better opportunity. It was logic. It wasn't, XRP for me was more of a place to store my money because it was kind of a stable coin through the bear market. It didn't lose as much as everything else did. So anyway, that's kind of my 2 cents for those of you out there that are, new to crypto, or that, are maybe, a little bit old school, and you're watching projects other than the ones that you're holding pump. Just wait. If you're in a good project, your project is going to make you money. Just be patient.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like you said, I had some people ask me last week, like, oh, crypto's been pumping, should we invest? And I said, if you're going to invest now, just do a weekly dollar cost average, weekly buy, a little bit at a time. Cause the time to buy was the past 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
And, if you're coming in now, dollar cost, you can, start initial position, and then, if you want to throw a bunch in, and then start dollar cost averaging if it goes down.
Mhm.
But really, like, this is the daily, this is 2022. This is render 2022, like 50 cents under a dollar.
Yeah.
2023, $1 to
Yep.
$3. Oh, mostly, under $2, and then
Yeah.
rips up. And then
Yeah. And then you had a huge pullback. You can see where it pulled back. And
and same with
it was probably
H-bar, like you were saying.
yeah. It did nothing forever. You saw a small pump during the bear market, and then it went right back down to the lows. And then recently, now it's taken off again. C90,
Yeah, but
a little while back said the same thing that you said. He had some people reach out to him and say, hey, what's something I can, something safe that I can dump, a bunch of money in and make a 40x on, I think is what he
10
said.
to 40%.
Yeah. Make, and it's
40x.
just like, that's not how it works. I sold 5 figures of ADA at 60 cents. Yeah. No, it's, oh, hey, what up, Johnny December?
Hey, Johnny.
How's it going?
Hey,
Johnny's
Johnny.
down in Belize. He's down in Belize. I'm contemplating going down there and buying a piece of property and hanging out with him. He's got a cool fishing boat that he goes out on.
Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah, so, once if you pick your projects, hang with them. It's, unless something major changes, everything is going to pump to different extents, for the most part. You definitely want to make sure that you have a plan of how you're going to ladder out or how you're going to, get out of your positions. You don't want to be in musical chairs when the music stops. You don't want to be the last one sitting, looking for a chair. It's
Yep.
I'll be honest. I plan on being out, probably 70 to 80% by July, of next year, which might be, way early. But you know what? I'd rather be early than late. So, am I going to, make the most money possible? Absolutely not. Am I going to get out with profit? Yes, I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And after going through the last cycle and not taking enough profit, I would much rather be in that position to be early and take enough than not enough at all and be bag holding at the end of that.
Absolutely. Because I mean, I got in at the end of the last bull market. I've been doing nothing but buy, every bit of crypto I can for this whole bear market. I've never seen profits until recently. And it's like, I don't want to be doing what I did, all through this bear market where I'm just dumping money in and watching it go down in value because I knew that eventually it would pay off. It's just, and I can't tell you why, but I just knew that eventually I'd be making money. Now's that time. I'm not going to miss this opportunity.
Yeah. And what, talking about what's your risk and, reallocating stuff. So HNT, I took a bunch of that from my miners, and because I was sitting here thinking, watching your DeFi plays and Aerodrome, and I'm like, I got this HNT just kind of bouncing around here. I mean, this is like the past 6 months, just bouncing around in this range. I was like, I could take that and put it and provide liquidity and earn rewards on that instead of it just sitting here.
Yeah.
I took a lot of that, and I've already made my money back from HNT, a few years ago. So this is all just house money at this point. But yeah. And I was like, let me see what I can do with the rewards, and earning Arrow too is a big thing because, that's a whole exchange, that's a whole DeFi thing in its own. Dude, so that could rip way past HNT.
I'm earning a couple hundred Arrow a day.
I mean, So
I'm doing
this,
nothing but stack and arrow because I honestly I see arrow going to at least $5 to $10 this cycle, at least.
mhm. Yeah, what was Drew talking about? $100 this
And you
morning,
know
I think
what?
he was. His
Drew
like,
is much
his like,
smarter. Yeah, he's much more plugged into crypto than I am. I'm
God
very
damn,
conservative in
that would
my,
be crazy.
you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, no, $100, dude. I would
You
have
would be.
millions. I would have millions of dollars just in arrow. So yeah, I mean, I'd be sitting on a yacht somewhere, and freaking, you know.
Oh, you build another
So
cabin, man. You build another cabin and
oh
just.
no, it's like I'm looking for something tropical. I'd have me a tiny house on like Dominican Republic or something like that, or I'd be sitting on
Yeah.
a catamaran or a trimaran, in some tropical place with a drink in one hand and my lady, sitting there with me, my cat
Yep.
eating fresh fish.
Be like, what do they call them? The snowbirds that go down to Florida from New York
Yep,
in the winter.
yep. So no, it's no, like I said, I try to be very even keeled, very stoic in my investing. I try not to get too moonshot with my projections. I honestly, my portfolio, I've gone a little higher risk, but I'm looking for a 10x return. Overall,
Yeah.
my whole portfolio. If I can get a 10x, I'll have plenty of money to do all the things I want to do with DeFi, to where I can easily make, and some real estate stuff, and I can easily make. I already have it planned out, where I should be able to make 10, 20, $30,000 a month,
Shit.
and basically my bills are nothing. I have no debt, which is it's strong. I mean, I suggest
Yep.
anybody that's able to do it, focus on getting out of debt. If you don't have a mortgage, a car payment, credit card debt, all of those things, all of my bills come to a little over $1,000 a month for my house insurance, my car insurance, my groceries, everything.
Jeez.
It's
Yeah.
around $1,000 a month. So, anything above that is play money.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a powerful thing. Everybody always talks about, crypto, and yeah, it's great. It's a great way to make money, but getting your cost of living down, getting to a point to where, you don't have those monthly expenditures that are draining you, and, that
Yeah.
require you to go to a job you hate, or, and do a job because you have to get to
Yeah.
a place, and use crypto to get to a place to do what you want to. The only reason I can live in a cabin out in the middle of nowhere where I don't have to commute to a job and all that stuff is because I don't have debt. If I had a mortgage,
Mm-hmm.
I would be doing some shit job that I didn't want to go to, working, for probably some asshole that, I want to smack in the mouth daily. And because I had to debt, where you can make that your investment make you money, through DeFi, through compounding interest, things
Mm-hmm.
like that, through real estate, through whatever vehicle that you want to use to get you to that place to where you can be secure financially, to take your family to a place of where, maybe your wife or your husband wants to start a business, and from home, that you can fund that, and that you give them the ability to do that, to where you can live anywhere in the world. DeFi, as long as you have a laptop, you can be sitting on a beach with a pina colada making
Yep.
money, or you can be sitting on a mountaintop with Starlink, that little portable Starlink. Joe Rogan
Yep.
talked about it. He was in the mountains of I think he said Montana or Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Utah, and he was elk hunting, bow hunting, and him and all the guys at the camp had the Starlink, and they were doing his podcast and stuff like that from up
Like
there.
10 guys on the same thing, and it was full, like
Exactly.
better than in the city. Yeah.
you could be in the middle of the ocean if you want to sail around the world and that's your dream. Crypto can do that.
Yep.
Using DeFi and crypto investing, you can be in the middle of the ocean and have a high-speed internet connection now with Starlink and be making money. So figure out what you want. You have to have goals. Write them down. Figure out what you want to accomplish in life, because if not, you're wandering around in the dark. You're getting up every morning, going to a job to survive. You need to have goals. If you don't have goals, you will never get anywhere. You will just spend your life on a hamster wheel, chasing the cheese, getting debt, getting, deeper and deeper in debt, getting the bigger house and the nicer car and, a boat and, whatever it is that you do to try to, be happy. But you're never going to, get out of it. You're just going to work until the day you die.
Yep. And you were saying that, if you are making that much, like $20K a month, managing your portfolio, you're essentially working for yourself at that point. And you're like, even if you're doing 5K a month, a lot of people can live off of, 4 or 5K a month. And after taxes, probably 3/4 of that you'll have left. But I mean, still, if you even work part-time and you can manage your portfolio, if you build it up enough during the bull run and then it takes off, or the bear market and it takes off during the bull run, and you understand how to do everything properly, because you do need that level of education. Like, how do I manage this and have it make money for me? But once you get that down, like, doing it right now, where you're kind of learning how to do the DeFi stuff and make money, and once you get really dialed in is when you can almost take more risk, but more calculated risk too. And you can
you do it from a position of power. When you're taking risk, like if you're making good money and you're working for yourself and you don't have any bills, if I get to a point to where I'm making 20, 30 grand a month and I don't have any bills, I can throw 5 grand at, some willy-nilly thing. And it's like, oh shit, well, that's, a couple of days worth of work. It's like somebody, they talk about, Jeff Bezos, if he drops $100 bill and he bends over to pick it up, he lost more money in the time it took for him to do that than the $100. Your time is money. Make your time valuable. It's but C90. I mean, I'm already just off $10,000. I'm using it as like a little test pool. I'm making $100 to $200 a day. Just magic money. So, imagine if I put, 50 grand in there or 100 grand in there.
And that's 3 different assets too. You're not just getting one, you're getting the Arrow, USDC, and wrapped ETH.
Yeah. So it's, basically I'm just building bags of, Arrow, ETH, and USDC. And if I invest in other pools, then I'll be earning those. So, I mean, there's SWE, there's, all these ones that everybody talks about, they're all, either, can bridge over to the base network or on the base network.
Yep.
So
low fees.
Yeah.
Like you said, the rebalancing can eat up those fees. Especially if Ethereum network has been pumping, then the L2 fees will be higher on all L2s. So,
the great thing about base, I don't know how they did it, but they pretty much, I mean, every transaction that I have done on doing my DeFi, every single, I think the most expensive fee that I saw was like 4 cents. Pretty much all of them are a fraction of a cent or like 1 or 2 cents. I mean, they're super
you're using
small.
Coinbase wallet, huh?
Yeah. I do nothing. I will not touch anything Ethereum unless it's on base. I will not use the mainnet of Ethereum. No, dude. I have, I think it's like $50 or $60 of, what was it? I got $50 or $60 of some crypto on in my wallet that I accidentally sent on the mainnet out of Coinbase. So it didn't cost me a whole lot, but it will cost me 50 or 60 bucks to get it out of the mainnet. So basically it's going to sit there until it goes up in value enough to make it worthwhile to spend the money to get it out.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I had to bridge some tokens from Ethereum to a network in the Cosmos ecosystem, and thankfully it only costs like $10.
Yeah.
Only $10. But no, like a few weeks ago or a week and a half ago, I think the gas fees were like 50 gwei, and that transaction fee was like $30. So, during the bull run, man, if you don't have your stuff off of Ethereum, it's like I have to claim the Ether. So here's my Ether node license, and I get activity daily, but this all has to be claimed on.
You need to like enunciate the A or something on that, because
Ether.
I keep on thinking you're talking about Ether.
Oh, yeah, Aether.
Or E.
Aether.
There you go. Aether.
Aether. I'll call it AC. AC for, yeah. We got the AC dashboard right here.
There you go.
So, I get like 30 ATH. What's the
ATH, Alpha Tango Hotel.
Alpha Tango Hotel. There you go. But this has to be claimed on the Ethereum network. So right now, I have almost 7,000 tokens that I have to claim, but it's on the Ethereum network. And the main license
sucks.
But the license itself is on Arbitrum. So it's locked up on the Arbitrum network, so that's good. But when I got the airdrop, I had to claim on Ethereum, and thankfully it wasn't like too painful because I waited a few hours after the token launched. So, and any airdrops that try and claim on Ethereum network, if you try and claim at the launch, I mean, gas fees are going to be so fucking outrageous. It's just not even worth it. And it kind of sucks because if you do have a wallet that has been hacked and you have a bunch of tokens coming in the form of airdrops on Ethereum, I mean, you're going to be screwed because one, the other person might be able to get those tokens out faster than you. And two, you might not have the money for gas to get those tokens in it out of there. So it's like Ethereum's it's good for security and the fact that it is like the main hub for DeFi, just period. But it's like a dinosaur, man. You don't have
and I'll be honest,
flexibility.
Yeah, I got out of everything, all my positions that had to do with ETH. But Base, honestly, I think it's probably going to save Ethereum. Either that or at some point Base will just become its own chain. But I don't know how they're doing it, but it speeds up the transactions. It's almost instantaneous. And it costs a fraction of a cent on, basically moving stuff on Base as opposed to the mainnet of ETH.
Yeah. I'm so glad that we're getting some good crypto regulation coming down, because Base has been one that a lot of people, have been farming or just participating in these different, on-chain summer. Coinbase had this on-chain summer, and you mint these like NFTs and art things that people make, and they try and get like, people to interact with the network. And
partner in your wallet. I was looking at that today. I was trying to figure out what all that was, where like you're earning points and you're doing all this stuff, and I was just like, this kind of sounds gimmicky.
So I've gotten some like real world, like physical merchandise from Atari. I
Really?
think it was in 2023. There was a campaign that with Atari.
Okay.
I got like a hat, a shirt, and a fanny pack, and there's like some other stuff that I got this year. Oh, it was weird. So there was something that I minted on here, and they asked like, "Oh, put your address in, and we'll send you a real world asset thing." And it was a little box, and it was pimple patches, and it had like the Brian Armstrong, his face, like the crypto punk,
Yeah,
on all
yeah.
these little pimple patches. And it was funny because the week before, my girlfriend was like, was about to order some, but she forgot. And then we got these in the mail, and she was like, "Oh, I needed pimple patches." And I was like, "Well, this is weird. They just came in the mail, and I didn't know what."
What are the
And
odds?
it was the most random thing, because like pimple patches aren't something that necessarily like, and the fact that it
I
came from
honestly,
this
I've never
Coinbase.
even heard of pimple patches. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you had them and she needed them is funny as shit.
Thank you, Coinbase. Yeah, you made me look like a fucking Nostradamus.
Right?
But
Let's
yeah,
see.
they want to try and get users to interact with the chain, and they have these like, some of these you can mint for 10 cents or for free. Some are, dollars, but some will send you, like I said, real world assets or physical assets. So it's kind of cool, but at some point you want to know if you're going to get any rewards out of this, like an airdrop. Is Base going to have their own token? And that was the thing that was very speculative, is we don't know crypto regulation is going to come. And Coinbase being a public company, will there be issues with them launching a token in the form of the Base token and all this shit that's just like, we need regulatory clarity and a path forward
Well, they
for U.S.
navigated that
citizens, man.
brilliantly, though. They
Yeah,
navigated that brilliantly. They did the base chain without a
yeah.
native token.
Hmm.
And so basically they, that because that's been the whole thing with the SEC, is that they're offering a token that's a security. And so the fact that they didn't issue a token, it's like, hey, we just provided software. We provided the chain, but people can't necessarily invest in it. But if you want exposure to Base, you buy things like Arrow, you buy things that are built on the Base chain, to
Hmm.
where there are ways to profit from it. So no,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. The
I thought
projects.
they navigated that
Mhm.
perfectly.
Yeah, and you brought up a great point that I actually mentioned in one of my videos recently, that you got projects like Arrow being built on top of these networks, and some of them are more exclusive to that network. Like Arrow. I don't think Arrow's on many other networks, right? And there's
I don't
Velodrome,
think it's
I think.
I don't think it's on any. I'm actually,
Okay.
side note, I'm actually trying to engage with on Twitter the CTO of Casper, because they're
Hmm.
his big push is he's wanting to do DeFi and build out DeFi on Casper. I actually kind of tried to plant the seed today and send him a message about integrating with Base, to where,
Mm.
because I would love to be able to use my Casper. I mean, I'm earning 16% APY right now, having it delegated, but I would love to be able to use it on Aerodrome, as like a liquidity pair.
Yeah.
That would be freaking awesome,
But
especially
is
if
Casper on base at all?
no, no,
Okay.
that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to plant the
Yeah.
seed for him to be, to be like, hey, you know, what's the possibilities that, that you guys could do this, to where, you can build out DeFi, on Casper, but at the same time, we could use our Casper on Aerodrome.
Yeah.
So, I could do, even if it was a wrapped, even if it was bridged over, and it was
Yeah.
well, like
The wrapped
Bitcoin,
asset.
they have that Coinbase wrapped Bitcoin,
Oh
the
yeah.
CB
CB.
BTC. I
That's
would love to
fairly
see
new,
like
right?
yeah, no, it's very new.
Yeah.
It launched on a couple different, I want to say it's Arbitrum, OP, and Base. I'm wanting to
Okay.
say we're the ones that launched on. But I actually made some money the other day in a liquidity pair using that. Um, but yeah, I would love to
Hmm.
see like some Coinbase wrapped Casper and be able to, use that on Aerodrome and freaking make money off of it. Cause yeah, it's one of my largest bags right now. It's bouncing between my largest bag and my second largest bag with this latest pump.
Nice. Oh, it looks like it's on Ethereum, Base, and Solana. The CB
Oh yeah.
BTC.
Okay. Okay. What was that again? Sorry.
Ethereum, Base, and Solana is this Coinbase
Oh, okay.
wrapped Bitcoin.
I could have swore that I
Hmm.
thought I saw it on. Probably not. I look at so much stuff all day long. I'm probably mixing stuff up.
Yeah, but
That
yeah, it looks
investor
like
on X
Aerodrome.
is a
Oh,
goat of DeSci. He's been on Basement and Discover
mm.
Crypto. Patrick is his name. He's all in on DeSci. DeSci is something I don't know a ton about. The decentralized
Yeah,
science or whatever.
yeah, me neither.
It might be something we might have to do like an episode on because that would force me to do a deep dive on it.
Yeah, I know Hoskinson is getting is starting his own company, and what is that? Not Fetch AI. Shit, there was some company that was doing the. Oh no, maybe I'm thinking the AI company. The Fetch AI was combining, or merging with some other companies to
This
make.
investor. Here are 3 reasons why everyone is bullish on DeSci. $1 trillion TAM, biggest names in the industry back it. Watch this
Mhm.
video and let me know. Huh.
Yeah, definitely have to do some deep dive into that.
Thanks for bringing that up, C90. Yeah,
Hmm.
we'll have to take a look at that and do a deep dive. I've heard of it. I've heard Discover Crypto, talking about it and stuff like that. And I know it's decentralized science, but yeah, I don't know, kind of the use cases and kind of the big players in it or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, and how
So
how
what?
you would get certain things. I think the biggest thing is like when you publish research papers and you have the big pharma companies that don't want certain information to be published, or they gatekeep it. This allows information to be published in a open, transparent way, but also how we need to figure out ways of finding out what the credible information is versus the bullshit.
Here we
And
go.
but I think you
Let's
need to
ask
have,
Grok. Let's
yeah,
ask
ask
Grok.
Grok.
Grok, what is decentralized science?
Grok's pretty powerful, man. I was surprised, like especially
I
with the
use it
images.
for freaking everything. I don't use Google anymore. All right. So this is what Grok tells us. DeSci refers to a movement and set of practices that aim to transform traditional scientific research by leveraging blockchain and other decentralized technologies. Here are the key aspects. I won't read decentralization. We all know what that is. Funding. DeSci introduces a new funding models like decentralized autonomous organizations or DAOs, where funding decisions are made through community governance or smart contracts, can open up research funding to a broader range of projects, especially those deemed too risky or unconventional by traditional funding bodies. So if like say me or you, it sounds like if like me or you, had some kind of cutting edge, science that traditional science doesn't want to back, like Glutobio Teki in Turkey. We think that
Oh
it's like the
yeah.
remnants of Atlantis, and nobody will fund us. It can be like a GoFundMe
Yeah.
for for science is the way I understand that. Like you said, transparency and accessibility.
Hmm.
Technology ensures research data once recorded is immutable and transparent. This can enhance the reproducibility of experiments as all data and methodologies can be openly verified. So that's what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Incentive structures, researchers can be rewarded for contributions through tokens or
Yes.
NFTs. So collaboration can be rewarded. That actually, this sounds like it'd be kind of really cool.
Well, man, and you get these researchers
Like,
and stuff
it's like
that,
grassroots science.
yeah, and you have to get grants for all these different things that you want to do as a doctor, researcher, and a lot of the stuff is they kind of like pigeonhole you into writing grants for specific things. When you want to do something different, they won't fund you. So you're kind of stuck doing what they want you to do because of regulations, or like, oh, you won't get the funding if you don't
Mhm.
research something different. So this is a way to be like, hey, fuck you. We want to research stuff that is actually relevant and beneficial, and not just something
Well,
to
a perfect
make you all the
example.
money.
Well, a perfect example is that guy that Joe Rogan has on all the time. That for the well, there's two guys. There's one that goes around and he talks about basically ancient civilizations, and he feels like that there's plenty of evidence, and he's actually starting to get a lot of traction recently, where we thought that ancient Mesopotamia is
Mhm.
kind of the oldest civilization when we went from hunter gatherers to all of a sudden we had cities and agriculture and all those things. And he's starting to find where for back 10,000 years ago, 15,000 years ago, there was monolithic structures and people building things like that. And then there's another guy that
That was Graham
was
Hancock.
that's exactly who it is.
Yeah.
And there's another guy, the older guy, kind of heavy set, where he talks about the younger Dryas
Yeah.
and how there was kind of a
Randall
great
Carlson.
flood.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm terrible with names. I'm glad you're better
Yeah.
at it. So, but for the longest, they've both been doing this for decades, but gotten
Yep.
no attention and been discredited by mainstream
Pushback.
science.
Yep.
So this would potentially give people like me and you that are like, hey, we find that interesting. I can, contribute to that either monetarily, or I can donate my time to help,
Mhm.
do that and get rewarded for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, give these people a way to make money off the stuff that they're investing in. Because shit,
Mhm.
like pharma right now, your taxpayer dollars are going to one, funding all the people who regulate that shit, and you're funding the drugs that are coming out of there, but you're not getting any incentives, and you're getting diseases too. So you're getting even more negative, by participating in this. And it would just be so much better and have more transparency. Like if you could
Well,
have the Pfizer trials immutable, like as soon as they collect the data and put that in the
yeah,
system, like they can't go back
yeah,
and change that and put it out to the
exactly.
public. So
Well,
if
and they could make it where the FDA had to put out their findings before like a drug is released, and
yeah.
put it out to the public and say, hey, this is it. Or as the data is realized, it just instantly goes out on the blockchain, where they don't
Mhm.
get a chance to vet it and scrub it and dumb it down, or so
Yeah.
that whatever data, whatever research was done, you got the actual data. C90 has a really good point
Mhm.
where he's talking about basically a DAO. The way it works is everyone who's in the DAO that's invested has a vote, and basically you have a pool of funds, and the DAO can vote on like people can bring forth I forget what they call them, initiatives or whatever,
Yeah.
where you can say hey, this Graham Hancock guy, he's needing money to go check out this site, and everyone can vote. Do we find that interesting? Who wants the DAO to fund that? And so
Yep.
yeah, I mean it's basically like a GoFundMe for science.
Yeah. So cool. It's so cool.
No,
We're
it is.
so early, man. It's like it because even a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, like RWAs weren't a big thing, and DeSci wasn't really even on the radar, and DePIN wasn't called DePIN. So you're like, man, what? I just find it amazing how you find so many use cases and then these complex ways of using these to reward people. It's like you don't have to understand every nook and cranny of it, but if you can just kind of get the concepts, the basic concepts of all these things, and like I said, taking a month, if you're a slow learner, just take one thing like crypto wallets or DePIN and just learn about that one thing for a month. Be like, okay, I want to move on to the next one. And the more you learn, I find this with myself, the more I learn, the more I just want to dive into more things and like, how does this work? And you just, it just kind of follow, you make your own path. And if you find something
The only
interesting, it'll
regret
pull
I
you.
have right now is that I don't have more dry powder to invest in crypto. That's like, honestly,
I think that's all of us.
dude, there's so many projects that I would love to put, money into. Just because, yeah, there's a lot of DeSci and a lot of things that I don't have anything in. I mean, most of my
Mhm.
plays right now are, kind of, more legacy plays. And, there's always these people that are coming out with new ways to use blockchain potentially. So
Yep.
we all need to get rich so we can, like I said, if we can all get to where we're making 10, 20, 30 grand a month, where you can be throwing, 5 grand at this and 10 grand at that and, not have it
Yeah.
affect your quality of life. I mean, yeah, it's a game changer. But I guess in my closing thoughts are, I'll reemphasize anyone out there that's listening, I highly suggest figure out what your goals are. If you want to, pay down debt, if you want to buy a house, if you want to invest in real estate, whatever it is, if you want, your wife or husband to not have to work, whatever it is,
Mhm.
write it down, figure out what it is that you want to accomplish before you start investing. And then build your investments around accomplishing that and know what you need to accomplish to make it happen. What you need, profits you need to make it happen. Have an exit strategy. Figure out, okay, I need $500,000 to make my dream a reality. I need $500,000. So invest, figure out, when this project reaches this, this is realistically what it can, get to. I'm going to pull 80% out. I'm going to pull 70% out. I'm going to pull 50% out, whatever that is. And then if it reaches this price target, I'm going to pull another 50% out or 20% out. Come up with a plan before, when you're thinking logically. Because when this market takes off, Drew says this all the time. Anybody that's been through multiple cycles says this. When the euphoria kicks in and everything's pumping and everything's going to the moon and everyone's going crazy, you're just going to be like, if I can just hold on a little bit longer and make it, another 10 grand or another 20 grand or another 100 grand, you're going to be the one that when the music stops, you're going to be looking for a chair, and the people that pulled profits are
I'm
going
gonna
to be
be
sitting there
sitting.
counting their money, and it's going to be
Yep.
your money. It's going to be
Oh,
your money that they're counting. So
yeah.
come up with a plan and stick to it. That is the
Mhm.
best advice I can give.
Yeah. Yeah, and don't feel bad for taking profits even early. I've had many times where I trade and just like some day trading or swing trading, and I want to hold this position. I'm like, oh, it'll keep pumping, but not really respecting the smaller time frames. Like, hey, it's gonna pull back here. So trying to be more comfortable with taking some profit at these certain points, and if it keeps going, well, we'll just find a better position and re-enter when it pulls back, or the opposite. Just being more comfortable with the smaller wins and more consistent smaller wins than the one home run, or you try and hit 5 home runs in a row, but then you lose everything on the 6th one So it's, the smaller, consistent plays and take profits, and not too early, but, just that's where you got to follow some TA guys. If you want to know where to take profits and buy and sell, I just tell people go watch some TA guys and you get a better read from the markets from them. But just don't go in it blind.
Well, what C90 just said is actually like when I go to Vegas and play blackjack, this is how I do, and this is how I plan on doing my crypto investing. Is I plan on basically your profits. It's okay to leave some profits on the table, but your initial investment, make sure you at least get your initial investment out. Your first take profit should be get your initial investment out, because you'll be a lot less emotional if you're playing with house money. Because that's what I do when I go to Vegas. Is I'm like, all right, I have $300 I'm going to play blackjack with, and I'll sit there and I'll play, and I'll be getting my free drinks, and I'll be socializing. And anytime I win, the profits go in my pocket. So it basically, I'm only playing with the $300. When that $300 is gone, I'm done. I don't reach into my pocket and pull out the profits. Whatever goes in the pocket stays in the pocket. And so and it's never failed me. Every time I have walked away from the table with either my money or in a bunch of free drinks and a couple of hours of socializing, or I've paid for my whole trip before, my flight, my hotel, and everything. So have a strategy, get out.
Yeah. Beautifully said, man. Don't be a slave to the day job. If you can capitalize right now and next year, even after you take profits, if you can find a way to make your income and like DeFi stuff, that's, God, man, if a lot of people took their, what was it, the stimulus check back then, they were able to take that and do something like this. If you could put your money in to one of these DeFi plays and let it sit there instead of just spending it on bullshit like a lot of people did, random whatever that they didn't need, you're like, oh shit, I could have taken that $1,000 that I spent on a TV and put it in this. Made
50 grand off of it. Took that 1,200 and made 50 grand. I'll tell you, I laugh whenever I hear people saying that they're going to go out and buy a Lambo and all this stuff that they're going to spend money on depreciating assets. I just laugh. To each their own. It's your money. Do what you want with it. All the things that I plan on spending money on are going to make me more money, and that's what is true wealth is making your money make more money. Being like a money breeder, it's like, it's like have your money make little monies. It's
you don't even have to water it.
No, that is the best thing that you can do is figure out how to make your money make more money.
Yep. And we'll do our best we can to bring you that information in an easy, digestible fashion, like with the DeFi plays.
No, it's C90. Yep,
90 Bitcoin, 10%
90% in the Bitcoin, 10% in the bourbon. Yeah, and maybe a little bit for cigars.
Hey, there
I
you
need
go.
to order some more. I need to order. I've been out of cigars for a couple of weeks now.
Oh shit! What are you smoking on Sundays?
I haven't. I ordered some, and they came, and the post office sent them back. So I don't know what happened with that, but yeah, I've been cigarless. Well,
that's all right, RJ. We all got bad choices, and we live and learn, man. We live and learn.
Oh yeah. The only time that a mistake is, in my mind, the only time a mistake is negative is if you don't learn something from it. If you make a mistake and you don't learn from it, then it's a bad thing. If you make a mistake and you learn from it and improve and become better, and then you've turned a negative into a positive.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. C90, RJ.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah, appreciate you guys coming. It always helps to have people in the chat to engage with and answer questions and things like that, because you guys make it worthwhile to keep doing these. So, and all of you that are on X that can't chat because you don't got the blue check mark, I hope they change that sometime soon. But
Yeah.
until then, join us on YouTube, join us on Rumble, and we can see all we can see those two chats, the Rumble chat and the YouTube chat. We can see and we can engage with you. Till
Yeah.
next time, next Monday, same bat channel, same bat time. We'll see you guys then.
See you guys
Thanks
then.
a
Yeah.
lot,
Thank
Jeff.
you, Mike. Have a good night.
Take care.